This is my price prediction for paid network. Now, before we get started, this is not a paid promotion. I was not paid to do this. However, I am an investor into paid network because I do what I say what I do. I've been doing this for the past 4 years, making money online and investing the profits. And paid network actually was one of my first earliest investments when it launched on PokerStars. I didn't get into the ICO. I missed out on a 100x, and I still decided to go back and get involved in launchpads because I genuinely believe that launchpads, if you play it right and if you play it like I'm going to explain in this video, can just give you life-changing gains. It gave me life-changing gains, and hopefully it can do the same thing for you too. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, paid network, what I think most people are overlooking, regardless of the launches that are coming up, regardless of the $500,000 raise and the $6 million raise, is actually the circular economy. No other project right now is using this tokenomic structure. And I believe that this is going to be the new meta for projects. We've seen Ape Terminal go absolutely crazy, and that was simply because they allow people to do social media tasks to get into allocation, which meant it's a flywheel effect, right? You advertise the project, you share the project on Twitter, you get allocation, somebody else shares the project on Twitter, they get allocation, and eventually it blows up the projects that they're launching because they have so much social media. It's like having infinite affiliates. The only problem was with Ape Terminal is that you only get small amounts of allocation. You get $10, $15, and Ape Terminal itself, well, it doesn't really have a token which is going to have crazy gains, right? It doesn't have a circular economy where these projects that launch still affect the base coin. Imagine this: paid network launches a project, right? The project has nothing to do with paid network, and then there's two different economies. They don't get paid in between. However, with paid network, for example, what they allow you to do, as you can see here, is collect revenue. That revenue goes into a community fund. That community fund goes back into liquidity, and I'll explain it shortly. That goes back into a buyback and burn, and that goes back into the revenue, which means when paid network makes money from all these launch pads, which I'm going to explain the inside information actually, which goes on with launch pads, which nobody else wants to talk about again. That goes back into the token buybacks and burns and pumps, and then that goes back into the revenue, and it circulates, right? It's a circular economy. Nobody is actually explaining this, right? Let me explain to you how it works, right? A launch pad makes money by launching new projects. Ape Terminal, for example, I'm not too clued up on the deals, but I'm hearing on the streets that when you get Ape Terminal project or PokerStars project, they take a percentage of the supply, you have to pay to go on the project, and then obviously they make money because they've got tokens that launch, right? And they're probably gonna market make those tokens over time, and by them launching your project, they've made money. You as a holder, you don't get any of that money, right? There's nothing that goes back to the token. What paid are doing is they collect fees when people invest into these projects. For example, let's take the most recent project which launched on paid network, right? Aether Games. You can see they raised over $1 million for Aether Games. Now, a percentage of that goes back into buying back and burning the token. And if you look at paid network's Twitter, you'll see they had a circular economy post, and you've seen there was over a 12% price impact on their buyback and burn from this one project alone. And that was only $1 million. They also gave more money into liquidity. And what having more liquidity on the token allows you to do is it allows you to trade more amounts. What most people have seen with these meme coins, you can buy $100, $200 of a meme coin, and because it's got such small liquidity, that pumps it, right? But how are any whales going to want to invest into it? They ain't. No whales are going to want to invest into small market cap meme coins, right? Because there's no liquidity where they can exit the market with, $100,000, $200,000. So you have to put a bit back into liquidity. Most projects don't do that, but again, with paid circular economy, they also put money back into liquidity. So this is how the flywheel is going to work. The more projects that launch on paid network, the more money that they raise, the more money goes back into buybacks and burns, which buys on the market, and that's more money that pumps the token. Not only that, but that's more money that goes into liquidity, which is going to incentivize more larger investors to come in there with 100 grand, 200 grand, and buy the token because they know that they can exit decently. They can exit with a large amount of money. But we're missing one thing: the community fund. Now, for those of you guys that was here last cycle, you will already know that last cycle, Kyle Chasse, who is the founder of Paid Network, he did a giveaway with a community fund. And you seeing the 10x's, the 20x's, the 30x's, and just how vast a community fund portfolio really can go. So imagine this. With the community fund, they will get investments on behalf of the larger community, and these investments are made on an automatic rolling basis. And these investments can take the form in tokens or equity. If you look at Kyle Chasse's portfolio, you will see allocations in coins like XRP, our equity round. Do you know how crazy that is? Most people, even I, can't even get access into these types of investments. But through the community fund, you will also get access into these ones. Never mind Star Atlas, which should over 100x. Just having even $100, $200 of access into these investments is going to be ridiculous. So that is why I think Paid Network compared to other projects is different. And as a price prediction, what most people are doing is they're comparing Paid Network not only to its old price, which is okay, but it's a bit silly, but also they're comparing it to other launchpads. Paid Network is not a launchpad. Paid Network is a fundraising platform, similar to Kickstarter. If you look at Kickstarter, you can value that in the multiple billions of dollars because they can raise millions and millions of dollars in seconds, right? Paid Network raised $1 million in less than 25 minutes. That means with the right amount of marketing, with the website being smooth, with the right amount of KOLs backing it, they could probably raise $6 million in a few hours. Meaning that you would need to evaluate this project not to other launchpads, but value it compared to Kickstarter. Meaning this is a multi-billion-dollar company, potentially, if these things play out. So my price prediction for Paid Network is well over $2. I think this can easily reach $5 if they do the things that they're already doing. So how can you get started and what's the best way of playing this? Now, it all depends on your personal situation. What I like to do is employ an accumulation strategy. A similar strategy to what I do with my Ethereum, to what I do with my Bitcoin, and what I'm currently doing with my Polkadot. You see, on my channel, I recently explained a strategy where you can accumulate more Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana by splitting your stack down into 10%, and by using, for example, let's say you have 5 ETH, you take 0.5 ETH and you put that into some meme coins, you put another 0.5 ETH into a startup, into an ICO, an IDO, you put another 0.5 ETH into another narrative, an AI narrative or AI coin. When those projects outperform ETH, you sell that and you buy back more Ethereum and Solana. Some people might not be in a position where you've got 75k paid. You think, oh, maybe you don't even have enough money to put into paid, and you're like, oh, well, you know, I want to have more paid itself, but I also want to get into the IDOs. What you can do is employ that same strategy with Paid Network. It's completely up to you, but it's a strategy which, again, it's really helped me. Being somebody where I wanted to get into crypto, but I started off in 2017, I got in quite late, and I was like, how do I accumulate more? I learned that this is a cool strategy. So let's say you have $1,000 worth of paid, that you can put $100 into each of these launches because you don't need to stake any paid to get into the launches. Then when these projects launch, if they do a 10x, for example, like A for Games, you get all of your $100 back on day one. You can then use that $100 at A for Games and you can use that to buy back more paid. Then you still have $900 worth of A for Games getting distributed, but you still have your same amount of paid. The good thing is that paid is down right now, which means you would have more actual paid tokens. So you've benefited both sides. You've got your paid tokens at a discount, so you've got more paid tokens, and also you've got 90% of A for Games tokens left, which is great because then when the next project comes out, you can invest more into the next project. You can do the same strategy again, and you can continue to accumulate more paid and more altcoins, meaning you're exposed to new narratives. For example, with the new projects coming out, obviously you had a gaming narrative there. You've got a NFT narrative here. You've got a, I'm not too sure what Ujama is. What is it? DeFi narrative here. And then here, obviously, you've got, with Commonwealth, you've got DeFi NFTs investing as well, right? So you will have a vast portfolio. For example, with me, I've got over 50 different private stores, I think maybe even more right now. And I've also got crazy amounts of spot market cap coins, meme coins, NFTs, games, everything, right? By simply employing this strategy. And that way, every single cycle, when I look back at the last cycle, I'm like, I came in here and I'm here. And in the cycle after that, I'm here. Right? Whereas when you speak to most people in the markets, they go, well, I made a bit of money and then it's other people's fault. I got rugged or I got this. It's everybody else's fault. No, if you use this strategy and you stick to the strategy, you can accumulate large amounts of wealth. Right? Because that's probably what you came in for. You came in this game to get wealthy. You came in this game to accumulate more Bitcoin. And by employing this strategy, you can do so. So guys, to summarize, my price prediction for paid network, well over $2, well over $2. I'm comparing this not to other launch pads out there. I'm comparing this project to startup platforms like Kickstarter. And when I look at the up and coming paid network launches, I'm using my money to accumulate these other coins. So I'm ahead of the narrative, I'm ahead of the curve, I'm before all the other influencers. But I'm not an expert, I'm not a genius. So let me know what your opinion on paid network is. And if you enjoy this circular economy and how you think these buybacks and burns and these new projects and these new raises is going to affect the price. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to learn more about crypto in a full free course, everything you need to know step by step, best places to buy, when's the best time to sell, market cycles, you want to learn more about due diligence, ICOs, IDOs, and different actual platforms out there, because there's a lot more out there than just paid network, check out my free course right here. Peace.